Ms. Nantla Haida, Chair of the SIDO Committee, Ms. Bandana Rana and Ms. Rhoda Reddock, co-chairs of the SIDO Working Group on Gender Stereotypes. It's great to connect with you again after our meeting in Geneva last year. My sister, Dr. Natalia Kanem, Executive Director, UNFPA, thank you for your extraordinary leadership always. Esteemed panelists, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests and participants, good afternoon. I'm honored to join you today on behalf of UN Women. I really wanted to be there in person and regret that I'm unable to make it. I'm proud and happy to contribute to this discussion at this moment, though virtually. UN Women fully supports the SIDO Committee's efforts to develop General Recommendation 41. Gender stereotypes are not just outdated beliefs that exist somewhere. They are in our lives every day. They are barriers to women's and girls' human rights. They restrict education, jobs, leadership, health, and justice, fueling inequalities and violence, silencing women and denying freedoms. They define whose rights are upheld and whose rights are ignored. This is why General Recommendation 41 is so critical, because gender stereotypes are the root of lived discrimination, the space where patriarchy thrives. Their impact is clear in politics. Women face double standards, exclusion, and relentless scrutiny. Many are sidelined or pushed out through harassment and violence, both online and offline. From threats to their safety to smear campaigns, stereotypes keep women from power. Gender stereotypes also fuel violence and impunity. One of the clearest examples is the so-called child marriage, which in reality is the rape of girls under the cover of tradition. Women and girls are too often valued first as wives and daughters and not as full human beings with human rights. Forced marriage denies them education, economic opportunity, and control over their lives and their bodies. This must end. Stereotypes also dictate economic power. Women are denied inheritance rights, reinforcing cycles of poverty and exclusion under the assumption that only men should and are heads of households, ignoring that women are running households. These harmful norms often begin at home. While boys are raised to lead and dream big, girls are too often held back, forced into roles they did not choose. The home should be the bedrock of equality and the springboard for girls' future, where she is supposed to shape her own destiny, free from fear, free from harm, and the abuses that too many endure behind closed doors. General Recommendation 41 opens an opportunity to shine a light on gender stereotypes in the private domain. Let us seize it. Let us also leverage this opportunity to uphold and celebrate religious, traditional values that promote women's rights. Across indigenous communities, women are guardians of knowledge, of land and culture. Faith leaders worldwide are increasingly rejecting outdated interpretations and championing women's education, women's inheritance, and leadership. We are aware of such efforts like the Council of Traditional Leaders in Africa, advocating for an end to child marriage and to FGM. These efforts must be recognized and must be strengthened. We commend member states for adopting strong regional frameworks to combat gender-based violence and discrimination, including the Belém do Pará Convention, the Istanbul Convention, and the African Union Convention on Ending Violence Against Women. But commitments must translate into action. Lifting reservations to SIDO is urgent. Most are based on gender stereotypes that deny women full equality under the law. These reservations weaken protections and keep barriers in place. Gender equality and the rights and empowerment of women and girls cannot be conditional. UN Women stands in unwavering partnership with the CEDAW Committee and the Human Rights Commission. Together, we have advanced general recommendations, shaping global norms, international policies. Most recently, we supported General Recommendation 40, reinforcing that women's equal participation in decision-making is essential to democracy, to peace, and to sustainable development. Now, General Recommendation 41 gives us a decisive opportunity to dismantle gender stereotypes at their core. We are at a defining moment. 2025 marks 30 years since the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action. We are also in the final stretch towards the expiration date of the Sustainable Development Goals, which pledged to end harmful practices against women and girls. General Recommendation 41 is a critical tool for transformation. We cannot lose the momentum. We stand with you as UN Women. We stand with the women's movement and the human rights movement around the world in supporting this effort. The time for action is now. And again, I thank you.